Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to the Franklin County Buzz. I'm Dick Wolf, your host today, and with us is Sharon Swafford, an independent broker here in Franklin County. Sharon, welcome to the County Buzz.
Thank you.
And you're an independent broker. Tell us what that means, and tell us where you are in the world of realtors.
I've been in the business 19 years, and I opened this independent company, Swafford's Property Shop, in 2010. The market wasn't really great at that time, but being independent and not associated with the franchise allows me to be very flexible with my customers, buyers and sellers alike.
So you opened in 2010, which was a very bad year. Whatever possessed you to open it then?
Well, I thought of trying to open a new business when the market is slower so that I could get adjusted and grow as being a broker, and that's just what we've done.
Well, good, and I want to thank you for sitting down with us today, because we've been following the growth in Franklin County ever since it started its industrialization in the 90s. And we see that we've got a lot of, our employment is good now. Most everyone's working. Our industrial plants are calling more people into work, 74 and Zanini, and I think the boat shop is hiring again. So what does that do to a housing market? And this is really what I want to talk with you about today, is what is the housing market in Franklin County?
Okay, the housing market has been steadily improving since 2010. I think probably it lagged until about 2013, and then 14 and 15 we started really seeing some numbers change. Even during the hard times of the real estate market, people still have to move. They have to have a place to live. So whether it be a job change or a couple getting married or whatever, they need a place to live, and so you're always going to have some folks coming and going.
And that's what we have now. When we talked on the phone, you mentioned that rentals are a big key, but you're in sales, or are you in rentals too?
I do property management. That was part of being an independent broker, to where I could do some property management, because in 2010 and 11 you had homes on the market. The market was flooded with inventory. There was more inventory, supply, than demand, buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And that monthly payment is still going to be there. So if someone got transferred to another area and they had their home for sale here and it was just sitting on the market, that's money going out each month. So some opted to rent their homes out to at least cover the mortgage payment, taxes, and insurance, so that it made it easier on them at their new location. So that's how it started. But now I also do property management for several folks who buy rental properties. They buy property, fix it up, and rent it out as an investment.
We've been talking about industrial development and the like, and that is one kind of a pressure on the market as we have new workers coming in. What is the pattern of a new employee that comes here? Do they buy a house right away? Do they rent first? How does that work in your market?
It does vary, but typically folks that are younger or just out of college or even new to the area, they're going to rent for a little while until they get settled in their job and determine what area, what neighborhood they want to be in before they make that purchase.
Okay.
Now, you also have some other folks that are transferring in for job changes that say they're maybe in their 40s or 50s, whatever. They have a house to sell before they can make a purchase here. So sometimes they have to rent until they can sell their previous property, and as soon as it sells, then they start looking for a home.
So what is the rental market right now? Lots of places, not very many places?
There are not very many available properties for lease right now. I have only on my books open right now, I have 3 bedroom, 1 bath that is not rented yet. folks with pets have trouble finding a place to rent. Because most landlords don't want, they've had experience with pets and damage in their properties, and they just will not allow pets.
So that puts pressure then. What do we do if there's not rental properties? How do you get more rental properties? I don't understand that.
Well, the investors are noticing that their properties are renting at a premium, and that the vacancy time is usually less than a month, before that one moves out and we can move another one in. Typical, the lease would be for 1 year.
Okay, so that's one pressure, and so we don't have many rental homes, and so they have to rent elsewhere and commute.
A lot of times they do. They're looking, if somebody is looking for a rental, sometimes they'll have to go over to Tullahoma, see what's available there, or even all the way down into Huntland, see what wherever they can find a house that suits their needs.
That makes sense, and we know that people will do that because we've done that. When you go to a place, you have to do that. So what about house sales? Is the market tight? Do we have a lot of properties for sale?
We have 269 properties. That's top to bottom price range.
Okay.
So that's going to include your fixer-uppers that are maybe really fixer-uppers that are going to have some serious work done, not move-in ready, all the way up to big lake homes. So we have 269, and I did have a couple of little numbers I thought was interesting.
Oh, yes, please.
To share with you. Of the 269 properties that are on the market today, the average days on the market is 137. Now, if it is under 100,000, the average days on the market will be much less, because that's more affordable price range. The higher in price you go, the longer time it takes on the market to sell. And I think you'll see that by the numbers that I have. So, for example, we have 42 homes on the market today under 100. Okay?
That's not very many homes.
That's not very many, with an average days on the market of 106. So you're already seeing the days on the market go down some. And so far this year in 2016, we've sold 146 properties under $100,000. So the supply is less than the demand, really turning back into finally, again, a seller market.
I was just going to bring that up. It's a seller's market, so people are getting what they're asking for their homes?
They are getting close. It is typical of the ones under $100,000. Of course, you've got, that's a lot of your new first-time home buyers, and they're they like to negotiate. We get 92.8% of the list value. That's the ratio, list to sell price, 92.8%.
Is in a normal market, is that a good figure, 92.8%?
I like to see it at 95 or greater, but buyers still have it's a buyer's market mentality, and they want to negotiate. So when you look, we talked about the under 100 being the 92.8. When you get above that to just the overall properties that have sold, then we're looking at a little better number, 94.77%.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And so these are these homes. I gather that the workforce that we are attracting to Franklin County would be more likely to go for the $100,000 range or less, or a little over 100,000 then.
Sometimes a little over 100. Let's see. In July, our stats were the average sell price in June of July 2016 was 163,772. The same number in 2015 was $148,064. So you see how we're closing, like we closed in 2015. In the month of July, we closed in Franklin County, we closed 59 properties. And this year, in the month of July, we closed 277 properties. That's a pretty big increase, overall, with an average square footage of 1,880 square feet.
All right. Well, that's just part of this market, and we're going to continue speaking with Ms. Swafford right after this break.
When it comes to furniture, appliances, electronics, and yard equipment, start with a company you can trust. Badcock Home Furniture and More in Winchester has spent years faithfully serving their community and their customers. Badcock Furniture has always been ahead of the rest when it comes to brand name furniture, appliances, and electronics. That's why Badcock is the best.
Whatever your shipping needs, Mr. Postman is where you want to go. Take your packages or bring the item unpacked and they'll carefully box it and send it off for safe delivery. Anywhere. Yes, in or out of the USA, Mr. Postman can get it there quickly. Mr. Postman, across from the post office, Winchester.
Got old junk you need to get rid of? Bring it down to Steel Salvage. Get the most out of your scrap metal. We buy and sell almost everything. Come to our location at 504 4th Avenue Southwest in Winchester or give us a call at 931-308-5013.
Welcome back, everyone, to the County Buzz. I'm Dick Wolf. We're speaking today with Sharon Swafford, an independent broker here in Franklin County on North High Street. We've been talking about the impact of workers coming into town. There's hardly no houses for rent available. We have a low inventory of affordable housing for that type of buyer. We also have a marvelous lake out here, Timms Ford Lake, and recreational properties are really coming on strong. The Twin Creek, Marina, that's a project that will eventually see about 350 new homes here. Mm-hmm. So how do these two markets compare, and why don't you tell us something about the other market for housing, the $300,000 home, the $500,000 house, the $1 million house?
Yes, well, those properties are also doing well, much better. In 2010, we could have seen properties that were Lakeview, Lakefront, Community Dock, whatever type. If they were a recreational property, we would have about 300. We are down under 100 now. So, when the economy is very tight, then that second home is not a necessity. And, if you lose your job making 2 house payments, you give up that second home. But now that's really coming back strong. It's very hard to say. Not everybody that moves here and buys a lake home is a second home owner. A lot of people buy them because it's going to be their permanent residence, and they're avid boaters or fishermen or just want the lake view. You have a lot of retirees that like to come here. They choose this area because A, we don't have a state income tax, and we have our housing costs are very low. So utilities, taxes, etc. The cost of living is lower here than in a lot of areas. So we have this big, beautiful lake, and we're surrounded by mountains. We're an hour from Chattanooga, Huntsville, or Murfreesboro to the big city. So we're just right in the center. And we have this big, beautiful lake and mountains, and we're all blessed to live here.
Well, Twin Creeks Marina has really hit on something then with their development of however many homes it ends up. We're not sure yet because they're still acquiring property and they're still making plans for the future. Mm-hmm. But that's, do these homeowners that buy homes at this price range, if they are absentee owners and just come here for the season, do they consider renting their home out?
They do. Some of them rent it out at times when they're not going to be here. Some know that if they're, not getting here but just don't want to give it up just yet. I have a couple that rent just the full year, year round, like a regular rental. It's very rare that I get that because most people want to rent, for the weekend or that type thing.
Right.
But some will do it and some don't.
So we're down to 100 homes. Twin Creeks is building some new ones. What is the construction picture like that you're seeing here in Franklin County? Are we building enough on both categories of housing?
Well, we are building typically around 150 to 175,000. That would be in the average range. We need more affordable housing. New construction wise, we've done very well this year. Currently on the market, we have 7 properties, new constructions for sale, and there are 4 in a pending status. And so far this year, we've sold 18 new constructions.
So that's good.
That's very good. Now that's what is coming through the realtor's hands. What the numbers that I don't have, but which has picked up significantly, is custom homes, where the homeowner goes straight to the contractor, hires the contractor, and builds a custom home. These are homes that are spec homes. What we typically have on the market is spec homes, not the custom new constructions.
Okay, are those figures included in what you mentioned earlier?
These figures are not included in what I mentioned earlier.
So what are what about the spec homes? Do we have many of those?
No, the numbers I gave you were for the spec.
Gotcha, okay.
But the numbers that I don't have are the custom numbers, because there's not really a system tracking that. But of course, that can also be identified, by using all of the new home starts permits that were pulled in Franklin County and subtracting these.
So yeah, it's a little bit complicated for a non-realtor person, but I'm understanding it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this new construction then is good for the economy. It puts hammers to work.
New construction is great for the economy. I'm very passionate about new construction because even as a realtor selling a home, if you list your home and you sell it, it puts me to work and the title company and the lender and several folks to work. But when you buy a new home, you're putting a whole host of folks, from the plumbing, electric, foundation, brickwork, siding work, roofers. You touch a lot of people, and that really helps our economy grow.
So Franklin County then, do you think, of course the downturn began in 2007, and you entered the market at 2010, and it was fairly low. Now it's growing. So can we say that we've come back from, are we at pre-2007 levels yet?
I don't think that we're at pre-2007 levels, especially because I'd like to say that the economy is they're not gonna let the economy run wild as it was doing.
Yes.
At that point. So I think we're holding it smart. And it's been a steady, it didn't just return overnight. It's been a steady, long process, but we are in a seller market again. And for many years, we were in a buyer's market. And we had a lot of foreclosures on the market. And those are also down significantly now.
Franklin County has an aging population. Many of our residents, are on the other side. They're aging. So there are homes that will soon be available. I don't know how to diplomatically say that, but they'll be leaving and they'll be vacating a home.
Yes.
Are there a lot of the small homes like that available?
Yes, I'm putting one on the market today that is $69,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and that's where a lady is going to be moving to another state to be with her daughter so she can help care for her.
I gotcha. So that house won't last long, will it?
I don't expect that house to last very long.
By the time we air this, that house will probably be gone.
Be under contract. That's what the goal is.
And so what would you say if you could knock on every door in Franklin County of a resident and say, you know, would you like to sell your home? Now's a good time for it. Is that what we would tell them?
Yes, that's exactly what we'd tell them, that the market, it is a seller's market now, and if they're considering making a move, now's the time. Or at least, let me say, a lot of folks don't like to put their house on the market going into the fall and winter. The most active time on the market where folks want to put their house, you know, they start calling me in January, I want to list my house, but I want to wait till, you know, late March, early April, you know, when it warms up, greens up, and
Oh, and the house will look nice.
the house will look nice, and they don't want to move out in the snow.
And nobody does. So this is a good time to sell. And that 95% mark that we talked about, you know, if they ask, $300,000 for the house, they're only going to get 95% of that. In a seller's market, why don't they get 100%?
Well, and some do. That's just an average across the
I
board.
gotcha.
And some folks do, and if the buyers are asking for closing cost or something of that nature, it can even be a little bit more than their original list price. But that's certainly a good market, because anytime you go to buy a car, you don't usually give them the price that's on the sticker. You know, folks like to negotiate.
They love it. They do love it. So if I don't know, we don't have a real crystal ball, but what do you foresee for the future here for Franklin County for the next 25 years?
Well, I do see with the Nissan plant and all the subsidiary companies that we have that kind of support that industry, I do see a lot of young folks move into the area as well as the retirees. A lot of folks moving down from the northern states. They're tired of that cold and snow.
That's
and their property taxes.
And their property, that's correct. All good reasons. Sharon, I want to thank you very much for bringing us up to date and giving us this information. Sounds like we've got a great future here in Franklin County.
That's right. And the downtown area of Winchester is having all kinds of events off and on for these folks, you know, for entertainment for these folks. Up and coming this month is the Wriggle, and it happens on a 5 to 9 on a Friday night, twice a year, and with local arts and music. Come out and see us.
We were here for it last year, and thank you again. Thank you all for watching. I'm Dick Wolf with the County Buzz, and we'll see you next time.